normally every bracha starts with a baruch, right? A bracha, baruch atah Hashem. The Gemara says in brachas, Gemara says in brachas, Maish, Gemara says in brachas that any bracha that does not have a shem of malchus, doesn't have shem of malchus, is not a bracha. That means you have to Hashem Elokeinu Melech. That's shem or malchus. It's not a bracha. And every bracha is supposed to start with a baruch. We have some brachas that start with baruch and conclude the baruch. But yet we have certain brachas, like all the center brachas in the Shemon Esrei. They don't start with bracha. Atochonin lodam das. Hashivenu v'inu sarasecha. They don't start. But they're juxtaposed to a previous bracha which concludes with a bracha. Baruch ato Hashem. Right? Haratzeh b'shuva. The next slach lonu. So the slach lonu doesn't open, but it's predicated, it's preceded with baruch ato Hashem. That's called bracha smucha l'chabrita. It's a bracha which is adjacent to a previous bracha. That's enough. If a bracha is independent of anything, that bracha has to start with a baruch. But if it's adjacent to another bracha, like there's an order, like Shemon Esrei, you can't say one bracha by itself. You have to say the whole order. So because within the order, it follows what was previously said in baruch, that's the equivalent of starting with a baruch. Okay? That's the Gemara. But we have a problem. Elokai neshama. That we say in the morning. Especially the way it's printed in the Sidurim. It doesn't start. Forget about long baruch. It doesn't start with a baruch. It doesn't start with a baruch. Also, you have a problem with what? With which Tosa speaks about. Tfilas haderech. Tfilas haderech doesn't start with baruch. Right? It ends with baruch atah Hashem shomei tefillah, but it doesn't start with baruch. Right? So, it's interesting. One time, the halach is, when we get to Hilchos Tfilas haderech, that if communities continuously built up one following another, you don't see Tfilas haderech. So one time, if you would travel from New York, let's say, to Philadelphia, you'd have to say Tfilas haderech. And one time when you travel from New York to Muncie, you would say Tfilas haderech. Today you don't say Tfilas haderech anymore. Because it's continuously built up. You have communities all along the way. So you're not really going out of a community, because before you leave the community, one community, you're already entering to another community. Right? Even though it's alongside the road, or you could see it alongside, at a distance. You're alongside the community. So people are, you're not accustomed to say Tfilas haderech that often. You travel, you go overseas, you travel out of town, by plane, okay, you say Tfilas haderech. And even there, it's not so simple. Because, they will never misak Tfilas haderech, never when you're up in the air. So the way you're supposed to do it is right before you take off on the runway, you say it, and then before the plane takes off. That's when you're supposed to say Tfilas haderech. Okay? But again, so those are the two brachas which do not start with baruch. Tfilas haderech, Elokai neshama. That's mechaber. Elokai, birchas Elokai neshama, einu posachas bebaruch. It doesn't start with baruch. Why? He who birchas Haodom. Because it's a bracha of what? Of thanks. Birchas Haodom ein poschos bebaruch. Doesn't begin with baruch. He's saying a chidush. Not everybody agrees to Busei. Not everybody agrees with this. And it says, Kimosha B'tzi Birchas Hashonim. Let's see what this is. What's Birchas Hashonim? Mishna Berura. Birchas Haodom. Ve'eno brocha. Hasmucha l'chaberto. Chen Rashoy Loma Baboke Bekuma Ara Elokai Neshama. He says, therefore, according to the Mechaber, let's say you want to say Asher Yotzar at home, all these other brachas, and when you come to shul, you can begin Elokai Neshama. When you come to shul, L'chein Rashoy Loma, you're permitted to say Baboke Bekumo Ara Elokai Neshama. You daven at home up to Elokai Neshama. Ubeis HaKnesses Yaschil Elokai Neshama. You begin Elokai Neshama. Ubekol Moki Shlasos Al Tzara Yosetov. He says, but factually, it's better. It's better. Lahasvel Elokai Neshama Birchas Asher Yotzar. That's the way we do it. Right? We say Asher Yotzar, but let's say a person didn't do it. He said Asher Yotzar, and he doesn't have to do any function. So you have no choice. You have to say Elokai Neshama. No. But we'll see later. What happens if a person forgets to say Elokai Neshama, and he says Shemon Esrei? You say Elokai Neshama anymore. You don't say Elokai Neshama. When you say Mechayim Mason in Shemon Esrei, that's the equivalent of Elokai Neshama. You're already covered. Okay?
I'm sorry. You say, when you say Asher Yotzar, in the morning, you do say it, Elokai Neshama with that?
It's better to juxtapose the Asher Yotzar. Asher Yotzer ends. Rofichol. You say Elokai Neshama. So that's
part of that first.
no, it's not part.
part.
You create a situation of Brocha Smuch al Chaberta.
Okay.
In Ilchus in Tefillah Saderech, Mishna Berura says that you should eat something before you say Tefillah Saderech. Let's say you say Alamichyo. So you finish, you say Alamichyo, then you say Tefillah Saderech. Or even a shackle. You eat something. You Baruch Rishon. So therefore the Tefillah Saderech, which doesn't start with a Baruch, is juxtaposed to a Baruch. Even though you don't have to. You could say Betty says bracha, but even the first bracha. You could. We're talking. I understand. La halacha, you don't have to. He's saying the Mechaber says you don't have to, but he says al tzara yosatov. It's better to do it this way. Vayim ber agro b'sim memvov shedai to gampi d'birchas kan neshama smuchel birchas sheyotzar. He the Gro disagrees with Mechaber. Even birchas hado, it should be juxtaposed. So therefore, he says the order is you say Elokai Neshama after Asher Yotzar. So let's say you come to shul, you're not going to have to urinate. You're not going to have to do your bodily function. At home, when you say Asher Yotzar, when you finish Asher Yotzar, you should say Elokai Neshama. You should say it. Okay? Okay. Nochel izor bezel lechatchilo im lo berach Elokai Neshama ad achash yispal shmon esrei. Oh, see this? What a person didn't say Elokai Neshama and he said shmon esrei. Like similar, if a person didn't say Birchas HaTorah. Here, Ernie, this is very important. You didn't say Birchas HaTorah, and you only remembered after Shmon Esrei, right? Ava Rabbo could be the equivalent of Birchas HaTorah. The halacha is if you say Yivarach Hashem Yishmerecha when you finish Shmon Esrei, then the Ava Rabbo is considered Birchas HaTorah. You don't have to. One doesn't have to say Birchas HaTorah, because if you take a look of the text of Ava Rabbo. Same with Behovin Lahaskel Lishmo Lumer Lamid Lishmo Velasos Lakaim is called Divrei Sam Torah Sechel Biavo. So it's talking about the subject matter is the study of Torah and the dissemination of Torah. So but again, to be a valid Birchas Torah, you have to learn afterwards. So therefore, the Mechaber says later. So if you say Psukim, no, Shmuel doesn't count. That's a question why doesn't it count? Doesn't. Because it's being said in the context of Kabbalah Somach Shamayim. It's not being said for the sake of study of Torah. So when you finish the Shmon Esrei, you say Yivarach Hashem Yishmerecha. You just say the 3 psukim. It's enough, and then the Avarabba assumes the status of Birchas HaTorah. No. I know, but you're saying it because Zechut Tzis Mitzrayim. The reason why you're saying it because it's Zechut. So that's the way it's quantified. It's not quantified as Limud HaTorah. It's quantified as Zechut Tzis Mitzrayim. That's why you're saying it. Okay. In Vorchod Lachat Filo, Shkem Shkor Oma Mechaya Mesim, what he just said, who Domel Masu Neshamos. It's similar. That's the Masu Neshamos L'Chor Mesim, right? God returns souls to the corpses. That's Mechaya Mesim. Pshar Tshuva Mfakvik Maud Bedin Zeh. Pshar Tshuva questions this. Umaskal Ponim in Beisham Abirchas Mechaya Mesim Hoy Bedat L'Vorach L'Kan Nesham Achar Tfilo. Hear this? Let's see. David should be. He was just here. Walked out. He says that if you have in mind specifically that you don't want to be Yotzev T'chaim Mason and you want to say Elokai Neshama after Shmon Esrei, right? Even though he says you can, Chaim Mason is the equivalent of Elokai Neshama. But if you have in mind when you say Chaim Mason that you don't want to be covered with Chaim Mason, you want to say Elokai Neshama after Shmon Esrei, Rashei Achkach Levorach. You're permitted to say Elokai Neshama after Shmon Esrei. It's only if you have this neutral intent. So then the Mechai Mesa is the equivalent. But if you have in mind, it's not that you want to say it independent. You want to say Elokai Neshama independent bracha, then you can't say it after Shmon Esrei. 1 second. Ein Shamatam v'alkeimash primegod m'siminun beis v'aymash ksafti shom bi'aralocho v'nusach ha'brocha lo yomar ato yitzarto bi rak ato yitzarto. You say ato. It's not ato yitzarto bi. Ato yitzarto. Nefachto bi. You infused it. Bi means within me. Right? V'yipach ba'apav dishmas chayim. Right? He blew a soul of life into Adam. So that's nefachto bi. Yitzarto. Not yitzarto bi. Yitzarto is formation. You formed. It's not bi means within me. Ato yitzarto. Ato nefachto bi. Yep. But again, the way the Sid is printed, the way it's printed the way the Mechaber says it. That the Elokan Neshama doesn't follow the Asher Yotzar.
I just checked that. At least in our school, it says some say Elokan Neshama after Asher Yotzar.
It doesn't hurt, you understand?
But otherwise, they have it. They have Elokan Neshama after all the different Torah.
Yeah. Okay. Yishtogid shachar shebirach echad birchas shachar v'onu achrav omein. Chozer echad mi'onin omein u'mevorach v'onin achrav omein. That people, each person says it's birchas shachar, and they answer omein. Then the next person says the birchas shachar, and the others answer omein. And they go one after another. We'll see in a moment. Say as a osed kol osim shanu omein tchilo. There's nothing wrong. You shouldn't question Lomar Shikvar Yotzu B'Omein Shanu B'Tchilo. You already said Omein on the bracha. We're not talking about Shemei Koneh. Everyone is going to say his own independent Birchas HaShachar. None have in mind to be covered by the others. So it's purely to accumulate Omeins. That's what he's saying Omein. If it's to be Yotzei, so then the second person saying the bracha has no right to say the bracha because he already was Yotzei with the first person saying the bracha. So that's what Mechaber says. It's not a problem. You shouldn't criticize this behavior because factually no one had in mind to cover anyone else when he answered Omein. When he answered Omein, it wasn't to acknowledge I want to be Yotzei with that bracha that I heard. Even if he intended, right? You have to have, the Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah, you have to have das mashmi and das shomea. You have to have the one who says it has in mind to cover the one who's listening, and the one who's listening has to have in mind that he wants to be covered. So as much as the one who says the bracha has in mind he wants to cover the other person, if the person answers Omen, he doesn't have in mind that he wants to be Yotzei with that person. He's not Yotzei, like Yismut Havdalah. Right? The person says Havdalah Motzei Shabbos and Shul. He's saying it to cover whoever wants to be covered. So if you have a family, you have to go home and say Havdalah for your wife. You should have in mind that you don't want to be Yotzei. Not to get involved in this question, because it's not simple. When we get to Hilchos Havdalah, whether a woman has a chiyuv, an obligation to say Havdalah. So, but if you haven't been Yotzei, so of course you're saying it for yourself, and therefore you're saying it for her also. She's covered with your Havdalah, with Shemei Koneh.
What's the issue about a woman
It has to do with, do we equate it to Kiddush or don't we equate it to Kiddush? It's equated to Kiddush, even though it's mitzvah grama, even though it's time-oriented, we don't differentiate. But if we see it separate, so it's really something you do only Motzei Shabbos. So time-determined mitzvahs, women are not obligated. Malacha, she has to say, she's not permitted to. But in terms of the formal Havdalah, to say it, that's something else. Okay, to be continued.